So once you've opened up the Odyssey MultIQ editor, you'll come to this screen here. What we need to do is create a new ADY file. So select the Create New, and it will say it's looking for AV receivers. Now make sure that your phone on Wi-Fi is connected to the same router that your Denon amp is, and it will show up here. So then select Home Theatre. It'll come up this screen. Please confirm that your exact speaker configuration is shown below. So I've just got it 5.1 at the moment, so front 2 yes, centre yes, surround yes, front Dolby no, and a subwoofer yes. Up the top right there, click Next. Connect the microphone to a tripod if you have one. If you do not have a tripod, please use the included microphone stand to hold the calibration mic. So select either of those, obviously not on there, I mean in real life. Click on Next. Once you've done that, connect the calibration microphone to the setup mic input on the front of the AV receiver. So I'm just going to do that now. There we go, plugged in. Right, sound measurements are performed by placing the microphone at 8 different positions around the main listening position. So as you can see there, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it may look a little bit confusing. 7 and 8 are for behind you. 5, 4 and 6 are in front. So then we click on Next. So you place the microphone at ear level at the main listening position. Now, when it does the first calibration, it will centre that, the remaining calibration positions to where your main listening position is. So wherever you're sitting, that is where you put the microphone first. And as it shows there, there's the red box. So click Next. Please remain quiet during the test as background noise can affect the calibration. So if you've got your lights on, turn your lights off. If you've got your PC on, turn that off. It needs to be as quiet as possible. Click Next again. Click Next to begin the calibration. Okay, so that is the first position calibrated. As you can see there, place a microphone at ear level at the second listening position. Now I'm not going to run through all this because that would be extremely boring. I've just shown you the first one. I tend to do 4 settings because there's only me that tends to listen to this. So I do 4 placements. Do as many as you wish. So what we're just waiting to do is getting the data from the AV receiver, which then plugs into the app itself, and then away we can go. So it's nearly up to 100%. There we go. Right, so use 4 positions. That's what I'm doing. Are you sure you want to end speaker calibration? Yes, continue. Right, on this next bit, turn off dynamic EQ. At the moment, the app that the chap has created doesn't take into account dynamic EQ. That's at the moment. If it's updated, it will obviously tell you so. So then we select Next and give it a name. So I'm just going to put 5.1 original how ironic that I can't think of anything original to put. Original, and then I'll just put Denon. So I know it's my amp. Tick OK. And then up the top right there, select Done. Please wait. So there we have it, the 5.1 original Denon. You select into it. As you can see, it gives you speaker detection results, room correction, target sound options, etc, etc. Now up the top right we've got a square box with an arrow. If you want to, you can just send that directly to the AV receiver. So again, it'll look for your AV receiver, send the file, Yep, want to send it. Which preset? I'm going to go preset 2, just for the sake of it. So please wait while the curve data is sent to your home theatre AV receiver. Data initializing, and it sends it. Now, if you just want to do that part, you can do. Absolutely fine. But if you want to carry on, then we'll go to the next step. Now, the other thing that we need to do, though, select Done. Done up the top right there. Done. Right. The other thing that we need to do is get that ADY file from your phone to your PC. So on this screen, we select the icon with the box and arrow, as I mentioned. Send a copy. Then select the curve, 5.1 original Denon, and then complete action using drive. Select that. It will go to your drive, save to it, and all done. Okay, so we're now at the computer. Assuming that you've got your .ADY file, assuming that you've got the A1 Evo Neuron folder downloaded and unzipped, and assuming that you've installed REW version 5.40 beta 6.9, we can go on to the next steps. If you haven't, just look in my description and do all those bits first, apart from the ADY, because obviously that's at the start of this video. Show you what to do. So, first boot up of REW, you need to come up to Preferences, click on Preferences again, and where it says maximum measurements, on first boot up it should say 50, or it may say 30, whichever it says, change that to 500, and it will pop up and say that you need to reboot. So say I put it to 50 there, it'll say restart REW to apply the change. So let me just put it back to 500. And also at the left hand side, just down the bottom here, untick animate measurements list. It just saves a bit of time when it's going through the process. Okay, so at the moment, that's all you need to do on there, and then do a reboot and then come back. So once that's rebooted and we've got all the files there, first thing we need to do is go into the A1 Evo Neuron folder here, and you'll see a number of files. The only one that we want to select, I'm going to delete that one for the time being, you'll see why. The only one we need to select is the A1 Evo Neuron Preview 2.4 Rise of the Comish, and it should be a HTML document. This one here is PDF, so double click that and it will bring up this page on your browser. Now it asks you to upload configuration, which is a .avr. Now, to create a new configuration file, which you will likely need to do, simply double-click odd.wtf menu.bat. Back to the Evo Neuron folder, and this icon here with the two cogs, that's the bat file. We double-click it, and it will bring up this menu. All you need to do is select option 1, press enter, and it will search for your AVR. Now, make sure that your Denon AVR, as I mentioned previously, is connected to the same router as your PC, preferably wired. You can do Wi-Fi, but I have heard in the past that it can create issues and it may not find your home theatre. So once it has done, it will then generate that .avr file, as it says there, success. Press any key to continue, and we'll close that down for the time being. Now that AVR file will be in the A1 folder, and here it is. It will say the name of your amp, and also will give a date and time, but most important thing, it says AVR file.
So once you've got that, we click on Upload Configuration, select that .avr file, open, and here, don't bother touching any of those unless you want to, but that's entirely your decision. I haven't bothered. The only thing I've done is unticked Match All Crossovers. You can keep it as the same if you wish. Again, entirely up to you. I'm just keeping it as basic as I can. Right, once that's on this screen here, this page here, should I say, extract measurements from an automated calibration file. So remember the .ady file? We select that, and we select that ADY file itself. Open that, and then it will download a zip file which will be extracted measurements. It may ask if you want to download it, just say yes, but I've already done it myself, so that's why it's downloaded again. Click on your downloads, find that zip file, unzip it, and cut, and I just paste it into the A1 Evo Neuron folder. If you click into it, it brings up a list of all your speakers and also the measurements for them. Do not change the name of any of these at all. Just ignore them for the time being. Put it to one side. So now that we've done that, we go to our REW program, and what we need to do here is drag and drop that extracted measurements folder across to here. And to do that, you just left click the mouse so it highlights one of them. On your keyboard, press Ctrl A, and that will highlight all of them. Left click and hold on the mouse and drag to the REW program and drop, and it will load all those measurements in. So that is all done for you. We can close that down now. So on REW, what we need to do once those are in, let me just click that off, go to Preferences, Preferences again, and then up the top select API and Start Server. Do not change the server port numbers, just Start Server, and it will say API server is running on port 4735. Close that down. Now, the next step here is to select a target curve. So you click on the EQ here, and up the top, Target Settings, select that, and where it says House Curve, click on that icon there next to the red X, and search for the Target Curve library, which will be in the A1 Evo Neuron folder. Select whatever target curve you want to test. Okay, now I'm going to go with Evo Neuron. Open that, and that will show there Evo Neuron.txt in the house curve. Press the X button up the top right there just to close that. Okay, so that is now all set. So what we need to do then is click on Start Optimization with Existing Measurements loaded in Room EQ Wizard, REW, which are these here. So click on it, and it will start doing its thing. It may take a little bit of time. If you haven't put a target curve in there, it will ask if you want a target curve putting in once it's running through the program. If this brings up here, save progress, multiple microphone positions were processed, would you like to save the current state? Just click save. I've already done it previously, so I don't need to. And it will carry on. As we can see here, it's now checking polarities in reference to speaker, the front left speaker. That's to do with where you're wiring it up, if you switch the wires around accidentally. But when you're doing the calibration, sound calibration on the Denon, it sometimes brings that up anyway. So it's now running through the program. Now don't worry if that warning comes up. It doesn't mean that it's stopped working. It's absolutely fine. And carries on going. So here, speaker volume levels. Subwoofer volume. And then it will also select the hertz. It'll bring up a table here, crossover frequency. It'll give all the percentages. Don't worry about that for the time being. Well, that's all. So as you can see there, it's put the crossover frequencies, 90 hertz, 90 hertz, Maria's at 100 and center at 150. As you can see on the left hand side, it's going through the motions in REW. This is why you turn the animations off as well, because otherwise it would just take a lot more time. You don't need to see that animating. All we're bothered about is the final result. So it's going through generating magnitude and phase correction filters for the channels. That's me just vaping. Now, depending on how many calibrations you've done, obviously this is going to take time. So, save log file. The log file contains valuable information. Would you like to save it? Yeah, I'll save it. And there we go. It's done. So, once it gets to enjoy your evolved sound, next thing we do is go back to the A1 folder, and in fact, let me just see, sorry, go into downloads and you'll come up, you'll see this OCA file. Cut that, then paste it into the A1 Neuron folder. It'll show the date, it'll show which target curve it's used. As long as it says OCA, you've picked the right file. So we put that in there. Now, we go back to the odd.wtf menu, bat file with the two cogs, click on there. And the next thing we do, or last thing we do, should I say, is transfer the .oca optimized calibration file to your receiver. So select option 2, enter. It will then search for your AVR. If you've only got the one, it will say found one compatible AVR in my case. Select one, enter, and away it goes. Now, if your PC is connected to the amp, and the amp then to the TV, it may show your Denon menu briefly before it comes back to the computer, which it does in my case. If not, then you will see it doing its things here. So it's done everything, so that's now all uploaded. Press any button to continue. We've done with that. Close it down, and then the next thing to do is find some downloads with demos, as I have done here. I'll link those below, and go ahead and test it. If you're not happy with it, choose a different target curve, and that's it. All done. Now, that is the basics. Obviously, you can go a bit more in depth with it, but for me, I just find this is the easiest way of getting that done. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. If it has, subscribe if you would, please. That'd be fantastic. Or even just give it a thumbs up. That'd be grand. Thank you very much. Bye.